This video is brought to you by...
Don't ever let them put you in a box. Don't ever let them predict your next move. And most of all, don't ever stop motivating them. Cool green clothing, top of the line men's beard oil, coming soon. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one, fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. Let's get right into the story. One thing about the streets is everything is transactional. What I mean by that, if you meet a plug, at first, it's no personal relationship, just business. They got the product, you got the money, y'all swap it out, and the transaction is complete until the next re-up. That's really with anything in the streets. It's not too many friendships. It's really based off what we can do for each other to get out of those trenches. Even if you call someone your mans, maybe because he is a shooter, you know he will protect the block, or a good trapper that knows how to set up plays and get to the money. Everyone is looking for the benefits. That's mostly the reason people flock to the streets in the first place. Trust in certain environments might not be high on the priority list. If you meet someone on the same type of time as you or dabbling in what you dabbling in, it might be a connection. You call me when your people's not able to get you situated with product, or I do the same. But you always got to watch out for the double cross. Sometimes a person can paint a picture so good of who they are, you believe them, causing you to let your guard down, letting them in your mix. But whole time, you get into the money more than they are. Of course, they won't tell you, oh yeah, I was just bluffing. I really don't got it like that. They will just sit back patiently, waiting for that perfect opportunity to put you in the blender. A lot of times, we sleep on how thirsty another person might be to survive. And what we call a little bit of nothing is a come up to others. The thing is, you just never know when you step into that world of trapping and street life who is solid or a snake waiting for the perfect opportunity. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll discuss a case of two best friends gone after a deal went wrong. Back in 2019, two young men were navigating life in Glen Burnie, Maryland. They were at the time 24-year-old Antoine Troy Briggs, nicknamed Webby, and Antoine Elijah Queen, nicknamed Buddy by family and friends. Both men had a pretty tough upbringing, but life would bring them together years prior when they met while both serving time for mistakes they made. Other than sharing the same name, the men had a lot in common. And after building a bond behind that wall, they brought their friendship uptown to the streets and remained like brothers, doing everything together. Webby had two kids, a little girl and a little boy, who he worked hard to try to support and be there for, as family was important to him. Buddy also had a little girl, and he grinded daily to make sure she was good. Minus being fathers, the two young men often spent their downtime with each other, finding ways to make extra funds. Just like most people, the friends had a side hustle from time to time. They would grab whatever product was available in the streets at a good price, flip it, and split the bread. Buddy had an associate he knew from high school, a young man named Edwin Valdez, who lived in Brooklyn, Maryland. Edwin was of Mexican descent and also played in the streets, trapping on the side. A lot of people felt because of his background, being from Mexico, he was the plug. He let it be known his prices was very low and he could get whatever was needed. Buddy and Edwin would reconnect through social media, as Edwin quickly reminded Buddy, I'm still out here shaking and baking. Only 19 years old at the time, Edwin had bit off a lot in life. He got married young to an 18-year-old young lady named Cambria Siak, and she was pregnant with their child. So the young man was trying to work a regular job and hustle. One day, Buddy needed to make a move, so he hit Edwin up asking like, yo, you got some girl? Edwin stated, yeah. but the ticket he gave was way too high, so Buddy respectfully declined. On March 24th, 2019, Webby and Buddy were together like always. It was Webby's son's 5th birthday, and they were celebrating with plans later on for the two to go eat dinner like they did every Sunday at Buddy's family's house. A message came through to Buddy from social media. It was Edwin saying, "Yo, I got some gas. It's high grade and nobody in town got this. I'm giving you first grabs." After consulting with his right-hand man, Buddy told Edwin, like, "Bet, bro, we can meet up later. I will grab it up off you." But Buddy stated he needed to hit a few more sales. Edwin also stated he had plays to make. About an hour later, Buddy hit Edwin back, stating, "I need that now. I'm ready." After a mix-up with where they would meet at, and Edwin asking Buddy could he pick him up before saying never mind, what's the addy? Webby and Buddy were at the Southgate Apartments at the time in Glen Burnie. Not long after, Edwin pulled up to make the transaction in the apartment's laundry room. After a brief conversation, multiple shots went off, hitting Webby and Buddy. Buddy was able to stumble from the building as Edwin began to flee the scene. As witnesses came outside, Buddy fell by one person's car, struggling with his injuries. Once the young man fell to the ground, Edwin hopped out the whip and went through Buddy's pockets before fleeing the scene. Witnesses called local police, who responded to the area to find Webby in the laundry room and Buddy out front of the complex. Both men were unfortunately pronounced gone at the scene. As the community came out to see what was going on, one person claimed to see a young Hispanic male with black, slick hair going through Buddy's pockets, taking his cell phone and what looked to be money. After describing the car, police got on the hunt. Meanwhile, in another part of town, Edwin went to his wife and other family members, letting them know what had just went down and that he needed to flee the state, possibly the country. Cambria, who was 4 months pregnant, helped Edwin get rid of the gun in Brooklyn and then get down to Texas, where as a Mexican immigrant, he would cross the border to go back home. Police went to Edwin's uncle's house in search of the vehicle he was driving. The man told police his nephew often drove the car and he had it that day. He even showed detectives Edwin's social media page and picture. A search of the vehicle contained blood and other evidence, and a search of Edwin's home in Brooklyn revealed a chip bag with almost 62 grams of grass in it. A warrant was put out for Edwin and Cambria as police felt they were in on the move together. As detectives got Buddy's phone records, everything came together, showing messages about the up-and-coming transaction, but at the crime scene, neither Buddy or Webby had money on them, and Edwin was seen going through Buddy's pockets, taking his phone, which indicated the motive being a robbery. Both young men's families were hurt and spoke out on how close they were, like brothers. They did everything together, even unfortunately losing their lives together. A few days later, Anne Arundel County Police received a call from Laredo, Texas, that Edwin was caught crossing the border into Mexico. He was taken into custody and awaited to be extradited back to Maryland. After hearing Edwin was in custody, Cambria's family pleaded with her and she turned herself in that same night, charged with accessory after the fact. After returning to Maryland, an interrogation, Edwin then denied the shooting, but he told a whole nother story. He claimed he was going to meet up with Buddy just to smoke, but when he got there, him and Webby upped the gun on him. Edwin claimed somehow he was able to strong-arm the gun away and shoot both men, then flee the scene. When asked did he have any knowledge about guns, he stated no. Police searched his social media account, but the young man deleted all messages between him and Buddy. But he messed up. Pictures of Edwin holding multiple guns were left up on his page, including him holding a 9mm Ruger that matched the type of weapon used on the friends. It seemed Edwin was going for the self-defense claim, but instead he was taken into custody, charged with 2 counts of second-degree hit, handgun violations, and robbery. It seemed Edwin had a few ounces but wanted to keep the product and take the money. Charges against Cambria were eventually dropped after spending months on home monitoring. At Edwin's trial, pictures of him holding guns were shown to the jury in an attempt to show he lied to police, stating he knew nothing about guns. Also, the messages between him and Buddy, showing he was trying to sell the man something, not just smoke with him. In the end, Edwin was found guilty of all charges and sentenced to 46 years in prison. Rest in peace to Buddy and Webby. I send my prayers and condolences to both their families and kids. I'ma leave this one open for discussion, but one thing I will say, if you choose to play in them streets, you gotta always look out for the cross. A person could do good business 100 times, and the next time they feel like they need to come up, you might just be it. It's messed up 2 young men gone over a few ounces of grass. But yeah, y'all let me know in the comments what you think about the situation. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace, them 2 young men. I definitely send my prayers to their family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.